Hey everyone, and as always, welcome to the channel and thanks for hanging out for a few. My name is Rich Charpentier, I'm the channel host, and most of the time we're talking drones around here. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to be joining in with the rest of the drone community putting this video out to talk to you about the FAA's new proposal for remote identification for our drones. Now, I will say at the outset that I am in favor of some kind of remote identification system, but not the current proposal. So as it stands today, I believe the current proposal is going to do severe damage to the drone industry, to small commercial operators like myself and like a lot of my viewers here, and also to hobbyists as well. The new remote identification system is really disturbing a lot of drone pilots. One of the first videos that I watched for a summary was over on 51 drones. Russ does a really great job. And we're looking over here on his channel. He has the FAA announces a drone remote ID proposal 1 month ago, and he talks through the entire proposal and what jumps out as bad to him. Secondly, he's got another video called Dear FAA, which was a very interesting video. Some interesting choices that he made on how he was presenting it. And I would suggest that you go over to Russ's channel afterward, check out both videos, and I'm going to put video links below. Now, secondly, I've got another article here from Vic Moss with DroneU, and his take on the FAA announces a new remote ID technology, why we're disappointed. I don't think any of us are against having our drones tracked by the FAA or authorities. One of the big things that jumps out at me in this is that in the requirements, they're actually asking for our data, our telemetry, our real-time flight data to be available online live to the general public. So that would mean if you're working a job site on a regular basis, like some of the jobs that you've seen here, and I'm regularly flying buildings for one of my clients, information could be available on the web saying, hey, Rich is at that location right now flying it. So if somebody has a problem with drones or has a problem with me in particular, they would know where I am and when I'm doing my job, and that they could come down and harass me or threaten me, which is a real possibility. This year on a previous video, I told you that one person had said to me that if my drone came near him or any drones came near him, they would be shot down. That was out and out a threat. But in Vic's article here, if we must transmit our location, that information should only be made available to law enforcement, period. I agree with Vic 100% here. So the idea that our information is going to be live streamed to the world while we're doing our jobs does not give me a safe and happy feeling about doing my job sites. Another item, and this is just one other item in this proposal, is that if we are not network coverage, if we do not have internet coverage in locations that we're flying, we could be restricted on our flight distance. So in areas where I do not have communication with the internet, which I cover a lot of those areas, I do a lot of raw land sites. So word of mouth has gotten me a lot of clients over the past year who are looking for me to do raw land video and stills and modeling for them. And while I'm at the locations, I don't have internet access. And the restrictions in here could just be destructive for me. They're talking about only being able to fly your drone 400 feet away from you. That's not 400 feet above and 400 feet out. That's 400 feet in total away from me. I'm working raw land sites that are 40 acres, 50 acres, over 100 acres. And if I could not operate my drone remotely to fly segments of those areas, I'd be walking along the whole property boundary with that 400-foot limitation. Now, this leaves me to wonder about other issues in motorized vehicles. Let's say automobiles, for instance. Everyone is worried about drones invading their privacy, and they want something done about drones, and they want drones regulated because drones pose security risks and safety risks. I've got to say, have you ever looked at automotive statistics? So I own and operate a motor vehicle, a truck. and I drive it on the public roadways. And I have a license for it, and I have a registration for it, and I have insurance for it. Just like that for my drone. I have my commercial part 107 certification. I have, I've got insurance on the drone. I've registered the drone with the FAA, so I've done all the same things that I've done with my motor vehicle. And when it comes to motor vehicles, we're aware of a lot more incidents than drones have had during their brief time with us. So looking at, let me see, I just wanted to go here. How many deaths from texting and driving? I was just doing some Google searches, and an estimated 391,000 drivers were injured in distracted driving crashes in 2017. Okay, let's read that again. 391,000. Now I'm flipping over to the next one. I was just pulling up some statistics this morning. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 37,133 people died in traffic crashes in 2017 in the United States, including an estimated 10,874 people who were killed in drunk driving crashes. All of the supposed drone incidents that have occurred over the years pale in comparison to these numbers. There haven't really been a lot of documented drone incidents, and that's in part due to, drones still aren't out there in every home, but we do have a lot of drone operators. We do have a lot of drones in the air, and all of the commercial operators, people are trying to build this into jobs, and they're being very conscious of safety issues. So, we want this industry to grow. I especially want this industry to grow for my business, and I want the industry to grow for your business. But doesn't it seem like a remote ID system might be a smart solution for all of these traffic fatalities and all of these distracted drivers and all of these drunk drivers and all of these deaths occurring in the tens of thousands and incidents into the hundreds of thousands? Yet there's no clamor for remote ID on, let's say, convicted DUI drivers. So some states do allow people who get DUIs to drive again. Shouldn't we have a remote ID so that we all know exactly where they are so that we can avoid those roadway areas? That's crazy. Being able to track down people, follow them to their homes because we now have a remote ID to follow vehicles who have broken rules. Is crazy. People could come after them for retribution. People could, just threaten them generally. Giving somebody's live data of where their location is based on a motorized vehicle that they're operating just sounds nuts. Now, in the construction industry, they have Caterpillar tractors, they have quads, they have all these different devices that are licensed, registered. If they need to take commercial licensing exams, they do. And there's no clamor for tracking those Caterpillar tractors that are bothering you in your neighborhood, building new homes down the road, and they're bothering you. You can't find out the driver's information, and you can't find out where the driver lives and when the driver is working on that property. That would be considered an extreme invasion of privacy. And given how many more vehicle owners, automobiles and tractors and tractor trailers, etc., there are a lot more incidents with those and a lot more fatal incidents with those, yet no one is yelling for this remote ID system to track their movements. So this is very unique to drones that we would have to be reporting in our job locations live real time on the internet for anyone to see and for anyone to then make a decision to come and bother and harass us. Now, there's a lot of other things going into this particular proposal, and I would suggest that you do some more reading and research and don't just take my word on it. I'm only talking about one small fraction of this, but last night I was having a conversation, and I said, I had a conversation with Jody, and I said, drunk driving fatalities, distracted driving, automobile accidents in general, we have those in the tens to hundreds of thousands every year, whereas in the drone industry, we've only had a few incidents over the course of the years. And to make this safety and security argument, I just find it to be bogus. The FAA absolutely is welcome to track me. Department of Transportation, if they felt the need, I would not mind them tracking me. Local law enforcement having access to know where drones are in the airspace, that's okay with me. And of course, you know, the FTC, the control towers in the area, they should absolutely be able to see where my drone is. But feeding out my information to the general public, restricting my flight if I'm not connected to their network, and working in the types of remote locations that I've been working in, it would completely kill that part of my business. And there's a lot more in this that you need to read about. So down in the show notes below, I'm going to have links to 51 drones, Russ's information on the FAA's announcement of the drone remote ID, and also his Dear FAA. And I'll also be including Vic Moss's article, which is very well put together. Vic is an industry veteran, and if you haven't followed Vic, he does some amazing work, and he's also an incredible advocate for the drone community. So if you haven't looked into this new proposal and you haven't commented on it, I'm also putting a link down below where you can go comment, and it's over at regulations.gov, and I'll put the complete link in. Over on the right-hand side, there is a comment now. Before you do the comment now, do your research, read through the proposal, or read through the boiled down versions of the proposal that both Russ and Vic give us, and they're spot on with this. All right, everyone. As always, fly safe and have a lot of fun. And I hope that you found this video informative and helpful in your thinking about this new FAA remote ID proposal. Once again, I don't mind them collecting my information, but feeding it out to the general masses is a whole other world. And they're setting up a lot of barriers to entry for small drone pilots. And if this goes through, I don't see any hope for small commercial drone pilots really growing their businesses over time. I think it'll end up being large companies, and those large companies will be doing their drone deliveries and such things. But I think without being involved in a larger company, the costs are going to become too prohibitive, and the privacy invasion is going to be too prohibitive as well. Thanks again for watching, and I hope that you go out and record your comments with the FAA before the comment period closes.